most people will not admit that they have improperly calculated a situation. There is a sense of great loss connected with admitting that you've improperly calculated a situation, because people do not reward what they consider as the mistakes in life. They do not necessarily see them as stepping stones or as instruction manual and improved outcomes and behaviors. As a matter of fact, I think that is reserved for the so-called intellectual, educated, or spiritual minded individuals. So as such, when individuals recognize in themselves that they have improperly calculated a situation, they tend to cover it. And you might say, well, it's their own private and personal business, and what is it to you? The essence of it is this: what is it to anyone? Except that our miscalculations not only affects us, the individuals. In a situation wherein you had underestimated another individual's potential, it is one simple outcome that maybe that individual might in a moment so surprise you that your whole experience of understanding has changed, and that might be good. But in another situation, your miscalculation might have led to the death of a member of your party, your company, someone that is very close to you, because you did not estimate or properly calculate the risk that was involved in the ventures, the journey you were on, the places you were heading to, the deals you were involved in. And as such, the end result is very painful. You'll beat up yourself about it, but you might not admit that it is something that you should consider and alert others to due consideration, because it is very important to have proper calculations of life. I've never grown up in this wealthy environment, though I've had the interaction through, where I've been placed in earth, living in a natural, simple environment, yet, I had family members who worked in the most esteemed positions of society, and so had that kind of a balance growing up. My calculations were informed by seeing both sides of the experience, but delusions formed when I assumed my value and my worth were based upon the experiences and the designs that was in the esteemed opulent parts of Jamaica that my family were working in. I assumed my values and my outlook were congruent with their values and outlook. Upon applying these behaviors, I recognized I alienated my own, hallelujah, my own spirit, my own intellect, and my own sense of well-being, trying to follow principles that I learned within their environment. And those improper calculations never led to the death of anyone, but it led to quite deep, dark embarrassments in my experiences, as when I was communicating with these individuals. Many times I recognized that I had no place, because what I considered the foundations of that association were improper, were incorrect. I thought that it was based upon virtue and merit. I did not recognize that it was bloodline and economic status that reproved someone within, or approved someone within this, circumstance and situation. So when I had my brilliant business ideas for social engineering and re-engineering and spiritual development, and a lot of codified thoughts that I've had over the years, it was just laughed upon and just shoved aside. It was not considered. Improper calculations, I did not recognize at the time that I was amongst the wrong people with the wrong intentions. This was not their design mechanism to recognize such things. So the Spirit is saying, go closer and clearer so they can understand. Okay, so why wouldn't it not be? Well, think about it. The designs of the structures of society that I'm trying to re-engineer, that my whole mental and emotional process is directed towards helping, towards recalibrating, is calibrated by them. Established, maintained, contained by them. That's what they are maintaining. That's what their power dynamic is about. That is their place in power. And as such, what I'm bringing forward threatens the whole dynamic. There's no support there. Absolutely none. Hallelujah. So when I went amongst the individuals who were suffering from the conditions and the situations that led to my thinking of re-engineering in all manner of human experience, I got a better response, because my solutions, my situations more related to their conditions, hallelujah, to their state of mind, hence proper calculation. moving from pure social science into a more spiritual outlook, then I came onto the path of religion. When I was on the path of spiritual outlook, just satisfying the knowledge and the gnosis that I had been given, I had much problems in that there was such conflicting spiritual information and thoughts and experiences that was going around. There wasn't a congruence in my behavior that was accepted on the spiritual plane, because spirituality is personality and individually constructed to your awareness. Doesn't matter how you're saying that you're seeing the same things, your behaviors will not manifest the same. It is original to your consciousness. And as such, when I manifested my unique behavior, it was not accepted. Hallelujah. And hence, again, an improper calculation. There was not a similitude in my spiritual behavior with these individuals. Then came a greater evolution into what is called, to some, Christianity or the ancient Yehudi traditions here in the Americas, right? And I found congregants in that thinking. I was like, wow, I felt at peace, Haba. I felt at home. I felt harmonization with the ancestors. I felt all that I am found peace, a more appropriate calculation. And then my whole outlook on life began to improve. Information, I would say, it just expanded exponentially, and my ability to process it and manifest it as awareness, hallelujah, became so expansive and awesome that I was like, wow. All along I was struggling through so much different ways of thinking, trying to find the right ways to express all these internal spiritual designs that I had on human and existence, human society and existence. And here it was that, following the true heart, intent, Haba, and the spirit of the Mashiach, I found my way to the followers of Christ in the true compendium of living information. Hallelujah. And here I am, in right calculation, growing subtly in life. Some people measure material and they look for the material, but that's not the measure. I have looked for the growth in my development, my state of being, and my calculations have proven that I'm far happier, hallelujah, far more healthy and sustained in my well-being and my ways of life, and also in my outlook than I've ever been, hallelujah, during, hallelujah, all the other states of existence. So right calculation proved right results and outcomes, right? And the Spirit wants one more point to be touched upon. There's some people who will say, well, does it mean that everything is perfect? You've made it look as if there's no issues. Now, who could ever say life is without issue at any state of mind? But think about it this way. If you're in the right state of mind and the right environment, when you are approached by a situation, do you just coalesce and fall and acquiesce? No, you stand up even if you do not know what is the right and proper measure to take to create the end result you desire, which is to end the conflict or the disparity. In that manner, you might have to take a time to sit back and relax and assess and calculate and put some things into assessment before you come to an end result. That's not necessarily one smooth process. There's going to be trial and error and some negative outcomes. And those negative outcomes will inform you how to rectify, correct, and push forward in the direction of your true desire, which is to have a rectification of the disturbance, amending of the broken ways or the broken experience. So take it in a layman's term in the opposite sense. Yes, you suffer through life if you're doing the hustle and the bustle life, the 9 to 5, or trying to get a break in between that 4 jobs, 5 job, and you're going through all the problem with relationship, fathers and mothers, baby mothers, and all the issue, baby fathers, your bosses, and that negativity is like, how does that transpose to a heightened spiritual, well-calculated life? If I'm going to be going through suffering and pain, and I've calculated my way through all these roadblocks, and I've made a way to survive, I got my car, I got my home, yeah, but guess what, you're not at peace, hallelujah, in the home with the car and with the experience you're having. So it calculates to be improper calculation in the end result, though in that there's good maths, right? You found some ways of making things work. But think about it. If you are set on a pendulum and you make balance and the pendulum will shift, you have to change balance again. And that's what tends to happen a lot in such situations. But if you want constancy, then you have to be in the right calculation, in the right function. And that ultimately will present and create the proper end result that you're desiring. And in such now, we can go a little bit deeper in relating to how you calculate these proper outcomes. Well, look at the experience. What start with a blueprint, what you would call faith, a design, a belief, purpose. Start with that. That is like the blueprint. That is the energy source from which you're going to draw inspiration, draw purpose, draw motivation. If you start with that, in relation to where you are. You can move from where you are to where you desire to be based upon what motivates you to move. Yes, you're in a conflicting, confusing situation. You realize that it's not just shifting your job around, shifting your relationship around that's going to bring it. It's shifting the mental patterns around. So that is inspiration coming from a source. Get into your faith, get into reconnection with the Most High, and reconnection with the Most High. And then therein, you'll find that connection to source. You'll find that connection to divine spirit, that inspiration, that motivation to change the behaviors will then alter the outcomes, alter the patterns of your function. You'll see opportunities where you never saw them before. And yes, in many cases, it corrects behaviors that leads to the correcting of outcomes in the people close to you, because what was triggering them within you, you addressed it, you adjusted it, and things are in harmony. So if you get these things in alignment, you can move from the confusing, rustle and bustle, hustle life into a more ordered, non-chaotic life, in the sense where chaos is mitigatable. There is a process, even if you don't have all of the information, but there's a way in which you can examine the information and create your modules for application. Improper calculations do lead to improper outcomes. But if you can gain gnosis and knowledge from these experiences, you will improve your right calculations and hit your mark every time, or at least close to it, right? So keeping on point, on flow. This has been the Great Owl, Reasonings Right Here at the Trail Life and Trail Life Television Network. Just reminding you, rather, to be in proper calculation with the experience, so as to have the right, proper, calculable outcomes of benefit and well-being. Blessings, love, light, and liberty. Continue to share, subscribe the Trail Life Experience right now on Wizio / Trail Life Television Network, our mini therapy healing sessions. There's some specials going on, so if you check them out within the next couple of weeks up until maybe the 15th of February, you're going to get some awesome discounts on your Seeking the Divine Light Within, the mini healing session, and just all the offerings on the Wizio / Trail Life Television Network mini healing session. Right and proper calculations create right and proper outcomes in the spirit and truth. Blessings.